Well, bro, I'm sorry to say it. I really never thought this day would finally come, but here we are. We've had a good run, but I'm afraid this is goodbye forever. I never want to hear from you again.
Wait, what? I know we don't text that often, but what is this all about?
I mean that I got married, and I'm cutting you out of my life, Ricardo.
Pablo, is everything okay?
What's that supposed to mean, huh?
You mean that ever since you graduated from med school and started working as a doctor, you've been acting different. It just feels like you keep trying to go from one goal to another ever since then.
What does that even mean?
I mean, like just now, for example. We live in the same house and you just dropped the news on your big brother that you got married? I don't get it. I feel like there are things that you aren't telling me. Other than the obvious big things.
And just why should I have to tell you every little detail about my life, huh? You know what your problem is? You dropped out of high school just so that you could start working early. The fact is that there are so many things that you don't know, and I don't have time to teach them to you.
If you're upset with me, that's fine, but I just want you to tell me what's going on with you. Please, can't we just talk?
Fine, you want an explanation? Here's what's going on. I'm now married to the daughter of the director of the hospital that I'm working at.
Wow, well that's pretty impressive. I mean, doesn't that guy come from a long line of doctors?
You mean you know about my hospital director?
I mean, that family has basically ran that hospital for as long as I can remember. They're a pretty famous bunch.
Well, good. Then this will make it easier to explain. Yes, I am married to the daughter of that famous doctor, and that basically means that I'm guaranteed to be the next director.
Are you sure about that? I thought that you were still doing some kind of residency or something, right?
And so what if I am?
Look, I really don't know about how all this medical stuff works, but I would just be careful about going around half-cocked declaring yourself the next hospital director.
So basically, you're jealous? Is that what's going on? You have no idea how things work in my field.
I really don't, but I'm just trying to give you some brotherly advice.
How about you just stick to the things you do know about? Got it? I'm the only one of us who's a doctor. And the fact of the matter is so many people from my graduating class came from wealthy families. But this girl, she is my ticket to glory. But first, I need to cut you off so nothing is holding me back.
Can you even prove yourself as a doctor among a whole family of doctors?
Well, not everyone is a doctor. My new wife is just a receptionist, but even she went to college.
And is that all that matters to you? What the last level of education someone got was?
Just can it already, would you? Look, I need you to move out of the house.
And just why would I do something like that?
Because my wife wants to move into our place, since it's closer to the hospital than where she is right now. But I can't let her know the embarrassing truth.
And just what would this embarrassing truth be, I wonder?
Well, it's the fact that I have some sweaty, smelly, blue-collar older brother, of course. If she knew the type of people that I came from, there's no way she would ever let me into her world of wealth and power. I know that your job barely even pays you, but surely you can afford some kind of crappy little apartment for yourself, right?
You know, I've been working a long time. Maybe you've forgotten, but I was the one who paid for you to go to medical school. I think that I can afford an apartment for myself.
Well, good. Then get out already. I told you to pack up your bags and leave, and I meant it.
Are you sure about this? You really want me to go? This is your last chance to change your mind if you're not sure.
course I do. If you stay any longer, it'll just be that harder to air your stink out of the house.
Well, okay, if you're sure about this, I guess I'll go then.
And don't ever come back, you bottom feeder.
Hey there, Kathy. I'm really sorry to be telling you all of this so late, but I moved out of my house.
Wait, what? What happened?
Well, last night I slept in a motel, but I'm gonna be moving my stuff into a new apartment where I'll live from now on.
Ricardo, tell me what happened. Is everything okay? I thought that you were worried about your sick mom, and that's why you stayed in your old house for so long. I mean, for all these years, ever since your dad died. You dropped out of high school and have been working to support your whole family. How did all of this happen?
I know it's a lot to take in, but I talked to my mom and have moved out for now. I think once things settle down, I'll try and take her with me too.
But can't you just tell me what happened?
Well, to make a long story short, my brother wants to cut me out of his life and pretend that I don't exist so that he can try to curry favor with his new wife's family, who are a bunch of rich, famous doctors, and he thinks that I'll ruin his chances of that. Yeah, I think I summed it up pretty nicely, actually.
Wait, what? What kind of crazy soap opera is your life ripped out of? That's crazy! Your brother married into a bunch of doctors?
That's right. In fact, he actually married your cousin, Erin.
Wait a second. I only heard that Aaron got married a couple nights ago. But I had no idea that it was to your little brother.
So it sounds like even your side of the family hasn't heard much about any of this, huh?
Maybe they were planning to make the big announcement at our family reunion next month? But wait, I thought that Aaron was dating some guy who worked at the pharmaceutical company she works for.
Oh, really? I have no idea.
Well, I remember that about 2 months ago, she brought a guy home and said that he was her boyfriend. They were even already talking about getting married.
Well, something must be going on then.
I mean, I wasn't actually there to meet him, but I remember she told me that he was a coworker, and your brother is a doctor. I guess that she must have been running around on someone.
It must have been this coworker guy, since Pablo and her seem to be married.
I don't know. I still feel like something is off here.
Well, I can certainly see Pablo doing something sneaky like this, but what about Erin?
Oh, I don't know. Erin has always seemed like a rather serious and reasonable girl. But changing who she was going to marry and then getting married so quickly just doesn't seem like her.
Well then, how did she and my brother end up getting married? If your cousin really is the type of person that you think she is, then I can't see why she would get with someone like my brother.
You know, now that you say that, I haven't actually been able to get a hold of Erin for the past month or so. I even sent her a message congratulating her on her wedding, but she hasn't even opened it.
Something is for sure going on then.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it.
Well, good luck and be safe. If you need any help or anything like that, just let me know.
Of course. Thanks for talking to me about this. I really appreciate it. I will let you know about any developments, okay? Ricardo, are you there? You're not gonna believe this, but I finally heard back from Erin.
Oh, really? What did she say?
Well, apparently, my uncle and Pablo are away on a conference right now. and it was her only chance she had to talk to me.
But why did she tell you?
Well, between what I found out on my own and what Aaron told me, things are pretty bad. But I think that I'm going to need your help. So maybe it would be better to talk about this in person? You aren't working today, right? Maybe I could bring Aaron and the three of us could talk together. Could we all head over to your place?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Just let me know when you guys are at the front door and I'll let you in.
Hey, Ricardo, thanks again so much for today.
Don't thank me. I'm so sorry for what Pablo did. I can't believe he would go that far just to marry Aaron the way he did. We need to move fast and try and save her as soon as we can.
I'm so happy you feel that way. Yes, we are going to do this.
Hey, Ricardo, do you have any idea where Mom is right now?
Oh, Pablo. I thought you said you never wanted to speak to me again.
Just shut up and tell me where Mom is right now.
Well, she's here with me, actually.
What? Why is she with you? What's going on here, huh?
You know, I've been paying for the majority of all three of our expenses for years now. So when I left the house, I knew there was no way that I could just leave Mom there with you. Especially when she makes so little for herself from her job.
What are you talking about? Sure, you may have helped me out a little when I was going to school, but I've never taken anything from you now that I'm a doctor.
Are you kidding me, right? You think I'm gonna take that from the guy who has never contributed more than around $200 a month to expenses?
What's wrong with that? That's plenty of money.
Do you realize that every month we have to pay about $850 to live at that house? $200 isn't nearly enough for anything.
What are you even talking about? What's your point?
I mean that at the end of the month, that house needs to be empty.
What is that supposed to mean?
I mean that we were renting that place under my name, but now that I'm gone, I've canceled the lease on the place. And Mom said that she wanted to come and live with me. If you want to move into a place with your new wife, you're gonna have to find one on your own.
Wait, just hold on for a second. I need to think.
Think about what?
Well, I think that Aaron and I are going to get a divorce soon, and I think that I'm going to have to quit my job at the hospital.
Huh? Things are moving way faster than I expected.
What do you mean by that?
But I guess I shouldn't have expected anything less from my girl.
Ricardo, what are you talking about? What is this?
Did you know that one of the relatives of your mother-in-law has hired a private investigator to look into you?
Excuse me, what?
I said what I said. And he found out all about the hospital director's affair with that young nurse. Or should I say nurses, but so did you. And you used that information to try and blackmail your boss and force him to let you marry his daughter. But before you could do that, you also had to make sure that she broke up with her fiancé. The real man that she wanted to marry, who worked with her.
I don't get... How did you find this out? Unless that girl you mentioned earlier. Are you calling her the detective? Her? You mean that you had a mole inside the family and were watching me this whole time? What's the matter with you? You're my brother.
I do not want to be called your brother anymore.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that yesterday, Aaron's parents got a divorce because of your father-in-law's affairs.
Wait, they did?
That's right. All because we let a little info leak.
How could you do that? How could you ruin my plan?
Don't ask me, ask my girl. She's the one who said that she wanted to bring all of this to light and let the cards fall where they may. even if that means letting you and your uncle fall in order to save her cousin. So now your father-in-law is going to step down as hospital director, and soon your wife is going to leave you.
But where do you live right now?
What do you mean?
I mean that I'm out of a job and I might lose my license and I'm going to get divorced and you need to help me.
You got yourself into this mess. You get yourself out.
Please, I need you right now, bro. You can't just leave me hanging like this. I need your help right now.
Don't call me bro. You and I are not brother anymore.
Please, don't be like that.
I've had enough out of you. You're the one who wanted to shut me out of your life in the first place.
What do you mean? You know that I wasn't really serious about any of that, right?
I mean that I'm only giving you what you wanted from me. So we are not family anymore.
Ricardo, please.
After that, I heard that the reason Pablo was fired was because he was always showing up late. Always harassing the female nurses and would try to wave everything away by saying he was next in line to run things. After his divorce with Erin, she sued him for emotional distress and won. Pablo had very little in the ways of savings since he always enjoyed spending money, and with his reputation ruined, he left the state. About a year later, I heard from a college on a business trip that he thought he saw someone who might be my brother, but I didn't bother to look into it. Instead, Kathy, my mom, and I are all living happily together.
Hey, do you even have a purpose coming into work? You're a total waste of oxygen. How does your company even put up with you? Useless guys like you should just stay at home, in bed. Hello, Christian. Was there something I could help you with today? You don't even know what you've done? The paperwork that you submitted today was full of errors. I was this close to having to work off the clock to fix all the mistakes. Perhaps you need to have someone more capable take over this contract. You're more trouble than you're worth. Do me a favor and go make your mistakes on someone else's account. I'm sorry that you feel that way about me, but I'm quite certain there weren't any mistakes in the paperwork. You're kidding, right? It was full of them. Your numbers didn't match up at all with our numbers. So I ended up having to redo all of our paperwork so that the numbers lined up. You have no idea how much extra work I had to do. What? Doesn't that just mean that your paperwork was wrong to begin with? Shut your mouth. Don't forget who you're talking to here. Let me remind you that I am the elite banker for one of your company's most important clients. My apologies. It wasn't my intention to offend you in any way. I'm well aware that you work on behalf of Prelcom. But I can assure you that there were no errors in our paperwork. You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I said that you are a complete waste of oxygen. You just put the blame on someone else for your own mistakes. That's just cowardly. You're absolutely right, and I agree with you completely. You're nothing more than a lowly employee, only suitable for punching in numbers and waiting for your next command. Compared to my status as an elite banker, we're in a completely different class. So don't think that you can agree with my opinions as if we're equals. You don't have that right. I'm sorry for overstepping my boundaries. Anyways, you better redo the paperwork and deliver the brand new documents by tomorrow. What? Why is that necessary? Because I said so, you fool. Besides, I had to redo our paperwork, so you should have to endure the same punishment. But as far as I can tell, there was nothing wrong with our numbers. How do you expect me to write up a new report in that case? That's not my problem. Figure it out yourself. You just need to do as I say. But there's nothing to fix in our report. Be quiet. If you're gonna keep complaining to avoid doing the work, we'll just break off this contract. Do you understand? I better have the new paperwork in my hands by tomorrow morning. Christian, please, wait! Let me just run this past my manager first. So, that was what took place during our call. Should I give in to Christian's demands and write up a new report? Don't even bother. Maybe you can just stick a new cover page on it and call it a day. I'm sure that fool won't even notice the difference. It won't even matter if you present him with a brand new report. He's just gonna complain about it anyways. He's always been like that, so don't even waste your time worrying about his illogical demands. I see. Was he this difficult to work with even when you were handling the contract? Difficult doesn't even come close to describing the huge nuisance he's been. Now that he's in a managerial position, I bet he's become even more troublesome to work with. I'm sorry for making you take over such a difficult client, Ronald. It's not your fault, but it seems like I've already run into a dilemma about how to deal with his antics. Don't worry, this shouldn't last for much longer. I have a feeling he won't be able to keep up his ridiculous games forever. Sooner or later, he's bound to face the consequences. What do you mean by that? I'm just saying that because of the way he acts, like he's so much better than everyone else, I'm sure he's made a lot of enemies along the way as well. Things will get much better soon, I'm sure. You'll have to bear with him for a little while longer, but don't let him get under your skin too much. Sure, if that's what you think is best. I'll do my best. That's what I like to hear. By the way, how's your wife doing these days? She's great, as always. I'm sure you know that our company is greatly indebted to her as well, so please give her my best regards. I will, of course. If I remember correctly, isn't it almost your wedding anniversary? Perhaps you can take her out to dinner at that fancy steakhouse that her father is also so fond of. That's a great idea. I think I'll do that. Thank you very much for your thoughtfulness. I'll talk to her and see how she feels about it. I can't believe you had the nerve. You actually thought that it would be okay to bring someone like that to such a high-end steakhouse? Wait, don't tell me she's your wife or something. I hope you don't think that you can get away with treating my wife that way. What are you talking about? What kind of an idiot takes their blind wife out to a fancy restaurant like that? Don't you have any common sense? Think about all the staff and other customers who have to accommodate her handicap. What makes you think that you should be so entitled? You're nothing more than a lowly paper pusher. That's enough. We were supposed to be celebrating our wedding anniversary tonight. You had no right to ruin our evening like that. You're definitely gonna pay for what you did. Oh, sure. Whatever you say. I hope you're not trying to threaten me or anything, because nothing you say can frighten me, you poor, worthless nobody. Anyways, that's not the kind of woman that you should be bringing to a fancy steakhouse in the first place. I said that's enough. So what if you're a so-called elite banker for our client? Tonight's dinner had nothing to do with our business relationship. You had absolutely no right to look down on us like that. What you said was completely unacceptable. And it was definitely not your position to scream at us to go home. Don't you think you're the one with no consideration for the restaurant or the rest of the customers? Actually, it's more embarrassing that lower-end people like you think that they deserve to dine there. And you realized that too when I pointed it out, right? That's why you left in the middle of your meal. Don't be so sure of yourself. We have a long-established relationship with the owner of that restaurant, so we decided to leave as a consideration to him. We didn't want to cause any more of a scene, so we decided to deal with the situation in a mature way. I hope you don't get the wrong idea about why we left. A long-established relationship? Yeah, right. How is that even possible? There's no way that you have the skills or the experience to establish any kind of relationship with people in this class. Well, let me tell you now that your career is finished. And it's too late now to make up for anything that you've done before. Huh? What are you even talking about? My wife is usually very good-natured and takes everything in stride, but she is absolutely furious with your behavior tonight. Unfortunately, it seems like you've really taken things too far this time. I have no interest whatsoever in anything your blind wife has to say about me. All I said was that handicapped people shouldn't be eating out at high-end restaurants. If only for their good, they should just stay at home. Do you think I said something that was wrong? Everything you said and did was wrong. But this is the kind of place that only elite bankers like me should frequent. Bringing your blind wife here is nothing but a nuisance for everyone. So that's why I said you should go home, and stay home. I'm sure most people will agree that it's a legitimate argument. Well, in that case, we'll be transferring our $500 million in assets to a different bank immediately. Huh? You heard me. And of course, we'll be sure to inform your bank that the reason we are closing our account is because of your disrespectful actions. I told you that you were way out of line this time, right? Now you get to pay. What? What $500 million are you talking about? Perhaps this information was never passed along to a dimwit like you. But my wife's family has a tremendous amount of money deposited in your bank. Your wife's family? So what? There's probably not much your blind wife can do about it anyways. She may be blind, but she's not stupid. Just so you know, my wife's family owns and operates multiple real estate and hotel businesses, and they're one of the wealthiest families in the country. What? Her family invests in our company as well. As a matter of fact, it's even possible that they've made a financial contribution to your bank, in addition to keeping their funds there. But who knows? You're joking, right? Of course I'm serious. What good would it even do for me to joke about this? My wife may not be able to rely on her eyesight, but her mind is as sharp as the elite business person. She's very much involved in her family's business dealings, and I'm proud of everything that she's accomplished. But when she heard the way you were insulting me at the restaurant, she was infuriated. Which, like I said before, is quite unusual for her because she hardly ever loses her temper. Infuriated? At me? Who else, you buffoon? I'm sure if it was just that one incident at the restaurant, she wouldn't have gotten this angry. But she's also well aware about your constant put-downs towards me. She's quite determined to make you pay for everything. Wait, is all of this really true? She's already getting in touch with her father as we speak. So I'm sure that his secretary will be contacting your bank right away. And I can guarantee you that your name will be coming up in that call. It's all over for you. Are you serious about doing all of that? How is this even possible? Your bank is going to be losing a very important account that's worth a lot of money. And it's all your fault. I'm pretty certain they'll make you take responsibility for such a huge blunder. You may be an account manager now, but you definitely won't be moving up any higher than that. That's for sure. I still can't believe this. This can't be happening to me. You have no idea how hard I've worked to get this far. Well, even if it weren't for this incident involving my wife, your career as a banker was going to be over sooner or later. What exactly do you mean by that? Your unlawful actions have already been exposed. An elite banker that embezzled company money. I'm sure that's news worth making the headlines. Huh? What are you talking about? My manager already told me everything. Word is that everyone hates you, and you've made enemies left and right because of how you look down on everyone, right? People hate me? Like who? You really have no idea? Everyone that's ever had to deal with your arrogance. Which, to say the least, includes everyone at my office. What? I don't understand. What reason do they even have for hating me? You honestly weren't aware? This is a more serious problem than I imagined. You're nothing more than a worthless bully who's only capable of dealing with his frustrations by blaming other people for his own mistakes. You don't possibly think that anyone would be foolish enough to respect someone like that, do you? Wait, now you're the one that's getting out of line. And besides, I haven't done anything illegal, so I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Embezzling company money for your personal use? I think it's a big enough deal that it'll make the headlines, and your career will be over for sure. As a matter of fact, the police will get involved as well. That settles it. You can say goodbye to your elite banker status, and any other good standing you might have enjoyed. This can't be happening! And what's embezzlement? I've never done such a thing. You don't need to convince me. Take it up with your company and the police. Well, this is just all the result of you making enemies wherever you go. It's only a natural consequence. You're getting everything that you deserve. You just have no idea what I need to deal with. Being in middle management is more stressful than you can ever imagine. I couldn't help it. My job was getting too overwhelming. So what? I just padded my expense report occasionally and teased some of our business acquaintances. No harm done, right? That's where you're wrong. It might just be stress relief for you, but have you ever thought about the people who are on the receiving end of your behavior? But if it's work-related stress that causes you to act like this, then how do you explain the way you treated my wife today? I believe she has nothing to do with your job, so it would be irrational to blame your actions on stress. Oh, well, that was something else. I never meant for it to come out that offensive. I was just trying to look out for everyone's best interests. You don't actually think that I believe such a lame excuse, do you? I assure you that I will be looking into what I can do about this matter thoroughly. And first things first, my wife will be transferring her family's assets to a different bank immediately. In addition, we'll be issuing a complaint for damages in regards to your speech and conduct towards my wife. A complaint? For what? What you've done is considered defamation under the law. Oh, and I almost forgot. You threw a glass of water in my face when you told me to leave the restaurant. That counts as assault, if I remember right. You're not going to blame that on you being drunk or anything, right? It won't even help if you do. That was... no, well... It wasn't out of spite or anything. I really didn't mean any harm. It was just a misunderstanding. Or rather, a misleading expression. What kind of an excuse is that? It sounds like you're having trouble finding your words today. Why don't you just say what's on your mind, like you always do? I'm very sorry. How can I express my sincere regrets to your wife for saying those things to her? Would you please do me a favor and explain to her that this was just all a small mistake? Make her understand that I never meant any harm. I am completely ashamed about the way that I acted, and you have my sincere apologies for my behavior. So why don't we just settle this matter between us? There's no need to make this into a big deal. We're all adults here, so let's just be mature about it. You're kidding, right? You want to act like none of this ever happened? When in fact, you were the one who was a poor example of the way a mature adult should act. Yes, I'm very aware of my ineptitude. However, we had all had a few drinks and had let ourselves loose. That doesn't make any sense, especially because we weren't even drinking with each other. As a matter of fact, even if we were drinking together, your actions would still be unforgivable. I'm very sorry. I just got a call from my manager. Please, try and persuade your wife to change her mind. I'm begging you. I swear that I never had any ill intent. Please, you have to help me. Yeah, right. What makes you think that we would ever do that? How can you be so cruel? That's easy. It's because I've always disliked you from the beginning. Maybe if you finally learned your lesson after all of this, you'll look for a new way to deal with work stress from now on. Anyways, goodbye. Former elite My wife's family is well known for their wealth and success. They had an account with Christian's bank to manage a portion of their personal assets. But as a result of the incidents at the restaurant, they decided to transfer all of their funds to a different bank immediately. When the account executives were informed of this matter, it didn't take long for them to find out that Christian was the reason behind the sudden request. In addition, the truth about his embezzlement was also revealed. So not only did he receive disciplinary dismissal for his dishonesty, he was also reported to the police for his illegal actions. I filed a complaint for damages against Christian for assault and was able to receive a large payment for damages as well as a restraining order. After that, I no longer had any professional connections with Christian, which was a huge relief. Christian, on the other hand, was abandoned even by his own family, so he really ended up losing everything. Perhaps for him, it was a lesson well learned. If you wrongfully use your status to bully people, you're only gonna end up losing everything that you've worked so hard for.